Late on the afternoon of March 30th, 1975, James Rupert woke up, got out of bed, and loaded his .357 Magnum, two .22 caliber pistols, and a rifle. Heading downstairs, he seen his first targets, and in a blink of an eye, shot and killed his brother, Leonard Rupert, Leonard's wife, Alma, and his mother. James continued in the house where he proceeded to shoot and kill all 8 of his brother's children. 17-year-old Leonard Jr., 16-year-old Michael, 15-year-old Thomas, 13-year-old Carol, 12-year-old Anne, 11-year-old David, 9-year-old Teresa, and 4-year-old John. After the murders, James sat in the living room for 3 hours before calling the police and telling them what he had done. James was quickly arrested and charged with the murders. During the trial, a bartender who was working at the bar where James spent that night drinking, telling the bartender he had to solve a problem he was having at home, being that he was being evicted from his mother's house. James was tried and found guilty, but a mistrial was declared due to the fact of members of the jury being made up of people who knew the Rupert family personally. 2 trials and millions of dollars later, James Rupert was found guilty of 2 counts of first-degree murder of his mother and brother, but not guilty of the other 9 murders by reason of insanity. He was sentenced to 2 life sentences. What could possibly possess a man to plan the murders of his mother, his brother, his brother's wife, and 8 of their children? Other than him being a complete and utter lunatic, several factors in this story do take place. Number 1, his mental illness. Number 2, his alcoholism. Number 3, you got to factor that his brother married his ex-girlfriend and had 8 kids. He was very, very jealous of his brother because his brother was a success. He had a great job. He had a beautiful family. And James probably, desired that, in his own mind, that should have been me. And let's not forget the fact, and this does take place, this does have a pretty big role in the story, I believe, is his stature. He was only 5'6" or 5'5", whichever article you want to believe. And being that short and being a guy, a lot of women don't want to date guys that are short. So that probably bothered him too. He's at the bar, he's talking to a chick, he's like, oh yeah, hey. Yeah, I still live with my mother, but, hey, you want to go out sometime? And she's like, okay, maybe. And then when they stand up, she's looking down either at him or she's looking at eye level. And that's not really attractive to a lot of women. It's just true. There was so much blood after the murders that when the detectives arrived at the house, the blood was seeping from the first floor down into the basement. I believe, a crime committed in this town that many detectives that worked that day have never ever seen before or since. And to this day, the house still remains and people live in it. And there has been stories about people like moving into the house and hearing weird voices and sounds and moving out. I don't know if that's true or not. But it's that house right there, right in the middle of your screen, right there. And I'm pretty sure the people that live there know what happened, but yeah, still looks the same. Pretty small house. It's kind of skinny there, but it's kind of a plain house, just, all these houses in this neighborhood for the most part look nice, but this house is not kept very well. Maybe it just has a bad aura. Maybe the owners of the house or whoever's renting it, maybe they just don't care about it. I don't know. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. We got one more stop to do before we complete the video. We're gonna drive back down to their final resting place. Maybe it's about 15 miles away, and just by coincidence, before we start driving, 2 coincidences to this story. As the date that I'm recording this, the murderer James Rupert, he just died last month at the place that he was at. I believe it was some correctional facility. He died at the age of 88. He died on June 4th, not even 5 weeks. 5 weeks ago. And also, just by dumb luck, because I had this story in my notebook, I was just at that cemetery yesterday doing a story about somebody else, and I didn't even know that family was at that cemetery. So we're gonna jump in the old rig and head on down and pay our final respects to the Rupert family. And again, I am back here at the Arlington Memorial Garden Cemetery, and this is the final resting place of the Rupert family. These are the Rupert's children that were all brutally murdered on that Easter Sunday afternoon on March 30th, 1975. Ages 4 through 17, all wiped out, a whole entire family. This is the parents. And the mother. This doesn't look like the grave of a family that was all slaughtered together. There's no flowers, there's no decorations, there's no nothing. They are all uniform, one in the same. And what death ends up becoming is just the ultimate anonymity with nature. By me saying that, I mean that after a while, once you die, a couple generations later, people forget, and you are, in a sense, one of a collective of whatever cemetery you're at. I mean, yeah, we all have, most of us, if we're lucky enough to have our name emblazoned on a grave or a stone or a marker or whatever you want to call it. And this story was all over the newspapers. April 1975. And I'm pretty sure it was talked about on NBC, ABC, CBS, all of that. And then time swashes over us as a collective. We all forget and we disappear into the ethos. At least, if anything, we can remember, even though we didn't know the Ruperts, at least for the time being in this video, we can at least say a form of prayer and just a thought to people that we've probably never knew, would have never known, and just a horrible tragedy that was committed by a insane slob. Not even a man, just a little weasel, a little jealous, drunk, slobbingly weasel. That is it. Okay, I'm out of here. On to the next vlog, that next episode. Catch up with you guys later. God bless. Peace out.